Succession is a real thing in nature, and we really need to be aware of how that's going to work and plan for that as we're planning out our food forest. Stick around to see how I'm doing that in a very small section of my garden. Today I thought I would do a quick video to show a space that I've really been thinking a lot about and did some interesting things with. One, because hopefully you might find a little bit of value in what I've learned, because I learned all of this from others as well. And two, because I really want to see how this plays out in 3 or 4 years, so I'll be able to come back, look at this video, and see if my predictions were right or not. There is some traffic. We're near the road in our farm, so please excuse the traffic noise, and I hope you really enjoy this video. So this may look like just a bunch of weeds with a poorly constructed trellis, but let me explain some of the elements that are going on, why I've planted them where they are, and how I hope they grow in the future. So both of these trellises, the cattle panel one in the back and the one I constructed in the front, have hardy kiwi started beside them. And so the intent is that the hardy kiwi will completely cover these over, and you'll be walking through this tunnel of hardy kiwi to get into the food forest. In addition to the weeds that are blocking your path on both sides, I have pawpaws started. On this side, I'm using the blackberries and the weeds as a bit of a cover, because what I found is pawpaws in full sun do not do great, at least here. And so I'm using that as a way of protecting that. And it's actually working quite well. Let's see if we can see it. Oh yeah, there it is. So that pawpaw is quite happy amongst those weeds, and I'll trim a little bit back. But as we start getting into more sun and hotter days, that's going to provide it the cover that it wants and needs. On this side, I actually use those log formations to keep these pawpaws happy, and they're just starting to poke up above that. I think some of these are into their 3rd year. I did lose one my 1st year, and so that's why I've become more careful at providing them the shade. And then these plants that are growing amongst my trellis and amongst my weeds is horseradish, and that's just here because the person that lived here before must have had a garden of some sort here and they've taken over, and I think that's fantastic. I'll actually harvest a lot of those, and I didn't plant them. I don't have to do anything to support them. They're really, really robust and hardy, and that's fantastic. So in the future, I'm excited because I'll walk through here walled on both sides with pawpaw, with these trellises completely covered with hardy kiwi, and I'll come through into my strawberry fields. So this is, again, on the one side is a little later strawberry, on the other side is a little earlier. And thanks to chip drop, I have these wood blocks that I'm going to use as stepping stones. So you'll be able to walk through this field of strawberries as they completely run and cover this. So you're not stepping on them, but it'll have this really, really strong forest feel and aesthetic. And then the trees are going to further that more. So over here I have a sweet cherry tree that I just planted this year. And then back there, which I'll show you a little bit more later, I have a mulberry tree, which is going to grow fairly large and cover a large section of kind of the back end of these strawberries. And then up front, I've been planting some annuals and some flowers. Yes, I know there's weeds everywhere and I have work to do, but the strawberries will do fine with a little bit of weeds as well. That weed pressure doesn't seem to hurt them that much. It just annoys my family when they come out to pick them. So you're going to walk through on these blocks, and then what we're going to have here is up front this jujube tree, which is going to get a lot of sun because it's not going to really be covered. The persimmon in the back, right now it's just a little stick, but that will grow up. And then over there is a quince tree. So I've put a lot of relatively unique trees up front because I think I'm going to want to visit them a lot, and this is going to be a section that I walk through almost every day with my dog. And so I'm going to enjoy coming through and looking at these unique trees. Over there is my nectarine tree, which is fighting a little bit with leaf curl, but doing okay. And then in front of that, I have this currant that I just planted this year and is coming along. So eventually, these strawberries will completely take control, and basically the only path through will be walking on these stepping stones. I'll just show you quickly this mulberry over here. It's into its 2nd year. That's a white type of mulberry. They grow really quickly, so I'm pretty optimistic that next year we'll start to get something from that. And again, my final vision on this is really a lot of tree canopy cover with the strawberry mat, and really just this really jungle aesthetic as we walk through, because I find that really, really fun. And in addition to the food that we're growing here, I'm trying to create an environment that I really, really want to enjoy and walk through. And I think that's the real reason I got into food forestry in the first place, was because I wanted the actual forest. So the last element I'm just going to show now is, just because I have plans for the future for a lot of this doesn't mean that I can't use this space productively now. So a lot of these strawberries will frankly not do great once all of this canopy cover exists, and I'll have to find new homes for them. But that's okay for now, and for at least 3 or 4 more years. This is going to be a great growing space, so I'm probably going to have to thin them out. I've also started to really use this space for annuals. So here is a Carolina Reaper pepper that I got on sale that's struggling a little bit, but it'll come along. And then again, some flowers, which I didn't harden off properly, but that's going to survive and make it. Sometimes I get busy and skip steps where I know it's going to cause me pain, but gets the plants in the ground and ultimately starts to get them on their path to growing. So again, the real reason I did this is because I'm excited to come back 3, 5, 10 years from now and see how my vision, my plans, my expectations panned out. But regardless, I know this is going to be a pretty special space, and I'm going to enjoy walking through here and collecting food for as long as that I live on this property. Apologize for all the traffic noise. People are starting to get up and going to work, and maybe I should go do that too. Thanks for listening.